If you've ever wondered, am I doing something that could get me audited? You're not alone. Most people think IRS audits happen because someone did something illegal, shady, or reckless, but that's not actually how audits work. In reality, you can do everything right, follow the law perfectly, and still end up dealing with the IRS. And if you don't understand what actually triggers an audit, not the myths, not the TikTok advice from marketers, you might be increasing your risk without realizing it. And by the end of this video, you'll know what the IRS really looks for, why people get flagged even when they think they're being careful, and what actually protects you when an audit happens. And I'm Jasmine DiLucci. I'm a tax attorney, CPA, and enrolled agent, and I represent clients in audits, appeals, and in tax court. And what I'm sharing today isn't theory, it's what I see happen in real life. And we're gonna break this down into 3 simple parts, okay? The law, the triggers, and the fix. Because once you understand these 3 things, IRS audits stop feeling mysterious and start feeling a lot more predictable. So let's start with the law, because this is where most people misunderstand IRS audits at a fundamental level. The biggest myth I hear, especially from business owners, is this idea that if you follow the law, you're safe. That feels logical. It also happens to be wrong. Okay, in an IRS audit, the IRS does not have to prove that you did something wrong. You have to prove that you did something right. That's called the burden of proof, and legally, it sits on you as the taxpayer. The IRS doesn't need to show they're correct. They don't need to build a case against you. All they have to do is ask one question: can you prove this? And if you can't, even if the deduction was completely legal, they can reverse it. Here's a very common example. Okay, let's say you deduct a business expense that is absolutely allowed under the tax code. It is ordinary, it is necessary, and it is reasonable. Okay, but during the audit, the IRS asks you to prove it. You don't have the receipt. You don't have the documentation showing business purpose. All you have is a bank or credit card statement showing that money left your account. From your perspective, that feels obvious, right? From the IRS's perspective, it is not enough. So they reverse the deduction, not because it was illegal, but because you couldn't prove it. And this is where people get completely blindsided. They say things like, but this is allowed, right? Or my CPA said it was fine, or I followed the rules. And the IRS response is essentially, okay, show me the support. Here's the part most people don't understand. Audits are not handled by tax law experts. They're handled by government employees that follow checklists. They are not performing complex analysis. Their primary job is to check boxes. And if the documentation doesn't clearly check those boxes, the deduction fails. Even conservative, by-the-book tax positions still carry audit risk, not because they're illegal, but because without airtight support, the position collapses. Now, technically, the burden of proof can shift back to the IRS, but only if you meet very specific requirements. You have to maintain proper records, comply with substantiation rules, provide credible evidence, and cooperate fully with the audit, and most taxpayers just don't meet those standards. So what happens in real life is this. You did something legal, you didn't document it perfectly, and now you're trying to prove it years later to someone who doesn't care about the context and really doesn't care about you and your situation. That's why following the law alone doesn't protect you, okay? Support protects you, and understanding this is the foundation for everything else we're about to talk about. Now, let's talk about the triggers, okay? Because this is where people unknowingly raise their audit risk, okay? The biggest audit trigger I see by far is losses, okay? Anytime a return shows a loss, especially one that offsets other income, the IRS pays attention. And that includes Schedule C losses, short-term rental losses, real estate professional status losses, large depreciation deductions, and any strategy that magically wipes out income. Even when those strategies are legal, losses attract scrutiny, okay? And from the IRS's perspective, businesses by definition exist with the intention of making a profit. So when they see repeated losses, the questions start. Is this really a business? Is it a hobby? Are there real deductions here? Is this a tax shelter? Schedule C losses are especially risky because they're typically tied to smaller, less formal businesses. So other common triggers I see: amended returns asking for large refunds, vehicle deductions on personal returns, income mismatches from 1099s, deductions that are usually high for your industry. And here's something most people don't realize. A lot of audits today aren't even full audits. They're correspondence audits, which is a letter asking you to mail in proof. If you don't send exactly what the IRS wants, the IRS doesn't need to argue with you. They just reverse the deduction, and it takes very little effort on their end and a lot of time and money on yours. Also important, not everything people fear is actually a trigger. Okay, home office deductions, for example, are extremely common and rarely an issue. Cost segregations have been around for decades, and it is not a problem by itself. The problem isn't the strategy, it's the loss and the lack of documentation behind it. Finally, let's talk about the fix, okay? Because this is what actually protects you. Earlier, we talked about the biggest mistake people make during audits. They assume that because something was legal, that it is safe. This is where misunderstanding becomes expensive. Here's the uncomfortable truth most people don't hear, okay? Audits are expensive even when you win, okay? Best case scenario, you spend months, sometimes years, pulling records, responding to notices, and proving what you already reported just to end up exactly where you started. No upside, just lost energy and lost time. And for business owners, time is money. And that's why the real goal isn't just avoiding audits. The goal is being set up to fly through an audit quickly and be audit proof. And the single biggest thing that protects you is organized documentation. Okay, remember the example earlier where a deduction was completely legal, but still got reversed? That happens because bank statements and credit card statements aren't enough. They only prove that money left your account. The IRS also wants proof of what you bought and why it was business related, which means receipts and business purpose documentation. Here's how that plays out in real life. Okay, I've seen business owners walk through audits with perfectly organized bank statements and still lose so many, if not all, of their deductions. Not because the expenses were personal, not because the strategy was illegal, but because when the IRS asked, "Where's the receipt?" they didn't have it. So the IRS reversed the deductions. Now compare that to the opposite scenario. A client goes into an audit with a clean general ledger, receipts attached to each transaction, business purpose documented in real time. When the IRS asks for support, it's already there. The audit becomes administrative rather than adversarial. Okay, and timing matters. Documentation created during an audit has almost no credibility. Courts routinely throw it out. Explaining intent after the fact often doesn't help. The courts actually call this self-serving testimony. Okay, what matters is what was documented when the actual expense happened. That's why having a real accounting system matters. Okay, not a shoebox, not a spreadsheet. You need a system that ties receipts directly to transactions and links them to your books as decisions are made. Because when the IRS asks for your general ledger, and they always do, you're not arguing or delaying, you're producing real support. And if you're operating at a loss or you have more substantial tax positions, you should assume higher scrutiny and prepare accordingly, which means better records, cleaner documentation, and stronger support. And if your tax planning is just ideas without implementation and real support, that's not planning, that is risk. Real planning combines the right ideas with real preparation, systems, and support, and that's what actually protects you. Most people fear IRS audits because they feel unpredictable. And once you understand how they actually work, they're really not that mysterious. When you've planned properly, documented correctly, and taken supported positions, there's nothing left to panic about because the IRS is a box-checking system, and the goal is to make those boxes easy to check.